Well, glad to have you back now. Qatar and Egypt have called for de-escalation as rising tensions across the Middle East raise concerns over energy security, regional stability, and global markets. During high-level talks in Doha, Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani and Egyptian Foreign Minister Bate Abatali discussed ways to prevent further escalation and emphasized diplomacy as the primary path forward. Qatar warned that targeting essential infrastructure such as water, food, and energy facilities could have far-reaching consequences. Such actions, officials said, risk disrupting global energy flows, threatening maritime navigation routes, further destabilizing already fragile regional dynamics. The warning comes amidst heightened concerns over supply chains and energy markets. My next guest is Mr. Light Shedrack. He's an international business ideation specialist. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for being live in the studio.
So, thank you. Good to see you.
Yes, same here. Well, I think I would have loved to have your views on this for a long time, but I'm happy you are here now. But let me first ask you, give an overview of these issues, the Strait of Hormuz, movement of crude oil. It has hit us hard in Nigeria. We are paying over 1,300 at the pumps. A deregulated market. So let me go on and on. Where do we find ourselves with this Middle Eastern situation?
Okay, thank you for that question. The truth is that as Nigerians, we are all in a fix. Energy-wise, we have challenges. We have our realities today that is price tearing on us. And if we don't do anything hurriedly about it, we might see ourselves still going down the drain. Let me just put it that way. Profiling answer to your question, I think it hit us hard because we are not prepared for this moment. Yes, in fact, this has really exposed us what is happening in Iraq, in Iran, on one part, US and Israel on the other part, has to a very large extent exposed our economic vulnerability. We are quite vulnerable. I was just taking time to look at facts and figures the other time. I found out that aside oil, there is nothing more we are exporting. In fact, our total export from every other thing is less than 6%. Oil is contributing to 90% of our total export. So I could be right to say we are a mono economy. And the implication is that if anything happens to us, if anything happens to oil and gas, I don't see us coming out of it. So what is just happening is like a wee bell trying to wake us from our slumber. It tends to remind us how vulnerable we are. We expect that with time, in no distant time, this is going to really go down. But I ask myself, is this going to be an end to global conflict that will affect us? The answer is likely no. We might continue to have issues like this. So it now means that we need to sit back and take total introspection of what we have been doing over the years, vis-a-vis energy, vis-a-vis how we have managed the resources we have. If we do not do, I see a situation where we might become so helpless, and I bet you when that level of helplessness sets in, we might not have someone to run to. We might not have anywhere to run to. Tolu, we are talking about a population of over 240 million. 240 million. I keep asking myself, if anything happens to us, where are we going to go? The closest continent is Europe. They will shut their door against us. 240 million in a fix will be total disaster. It will be worse than natural disaster. So it is reminding us the need for us to sit, think, talk, collaborate, and do what we need to do at this point. I just pray that this crisis doesn't linger. If it does, Tolu will be in crisis.
I think I'm aligning with you with regards to that, because this is a country just coming out of major reforms, and we're already commending government and seeing a step forward. And now we see that this is shifting inflation and all of this. But I want to ask you specifically, because I know I heard you talk when before the subsidy removal, deregulating and all of that. Some say we should always be prepared for the pains and the gains of a deregulated market. Maybe that's what we are facing now as a country.
Well, I just want to air my personal view about this deregulation, about the policy framework as it relates to oil and gas, especially the policies of the current government as it relates to oil and gas sector. Yes, I am one of those that say very vital sectors like that should be left to be freely operated. But at the same time, I am not someone who will say that government should be totally free from regulation, totally, they should get involved. Let me cite one instance.
Okay.
I went to the gas station a few days ago to buy fuel from, with my gallon for my generator at home, I went with a 10-liter gallon. Tolu, what I saw at the end of the day in that gallon is not half of that gallon. Now you tell me you don't want to get involved. You don't know that an average Nigerian businessman doesn't understand morality when it comes to if you don't get involved, these guys will cash in on what is happening and continue to treat Nigerians the way that we wouldn't like. Aside the fact they are manipulating their pawns and all those things. Imagine you buying fuel at expensive rates and
it's still not accurate.
Are you getting it?
Yes.
And government can tell me they don't want to be involved. They need to be involved because I keep saying once we solve our energy challenges, we've done over 60% of whatever challenges we have. Yes, I am not saying government shouldn't deregulate. I'm not saying government shouldn't, allow private sectors to play the game within the oil and gas sector. But we should understand the kind of people we are. We need to be monitored. We've not got, our moral standard has not gotten to that point where you will leave this in the hands of people whose quest for profitability has no bounds. They can go extra miles. It is so on time that there's nothing they cannot do to, get this profit at the expense of who? Ordinary Nigerians. Many businesses are going down to that is something that each time I wake up and think about it, it saddens my heart. I was just going through the other time. India, the contribution of small and medium enterprises, that is those in the informal sector, to total India export is 45%. Nigeria, only 6%. 240 million Nigerians. Are you getting it? So, I had expected that whatever policy government is putting out there should be so that we positively rub off on ordinary Nigerians. I don't like policy that creates super rich individuals and super poor individuals. That is exactly, we don't even have middle class as it stands now. That has totally been wiped away. People are struggling. I'm talking about even feeding has become a problem. Okay, so no matter, now I looked at this. Okay, our budget is hinged on $65 dollars per barrel. We are having it over $100 per barrel.
Yes.
The surplus, Tolu, what are we going to do with it? Are we still going to sit back and say, oil windfall again without planning? We don't plan enough.
I wanted to ask you that, do we have opportunities in this? Because many will say, hey, you guys can cash out and all of that.
My brother, like I said, the policy framework is where I have challenges. Well, implementation, let me say, I still believe that there are people who have so hijacked the system that the benefits that should rub off on the people, that should rub off on the polity, is rather rubbing off on individual pockets. And what do I have to say here? I have to say that the government of the day should wake up to their responsibilities of ensuring that what Nigeria is blessed with goes round. People should, I was just reading on the paper the other day where I learned that over 2.1 trillion naira was paid for oil survey, pipeline surveillance. These are few individuals going with this bulk of money. The president should look at those and regulate. Those are enforced. Every aspect of oil and gas that needs to be holistically looked at, I think this is the time we should do so. Otherwise, we'll still continue to have a situation where even with the benefit that should accrue, it will only end up filling the pockets of few at the expense of 240 million Nigerians. Tolu, what I'm seeing doesn't look good if nothing happens. These are so much exposed us.
Sort of interventions are we now going to be looking at critically at this time?
Tolu, there's something I'm going to say. It might sound funny to you. You know, during the NNPC Dangote saga,
yes,
I was in the fore trying to say government needs to tighten up. Don't lose your guard where Dangote is. But at this point in time, something has to change. I was taking stock of things within the oil and gas sector, yesterday night, and I keep asking myself, Dangote has expanded its refining capacity. Tolu, the truth is this: we need to survive, and survival entails, in the language of American president, make deals. Make deals where necessary so that we survive the moment. Every concessions that need to be done, including sitting down with Dangote and others, let us expand our horizon. Let us expand our chances and see where we need to push this and push that to survive this very moment. If Dangote is going to give us a little buffer at this point in time, if any other one, if there is any other source, there's something India is doing. India, prices of petroleum products in India did not increase so much. India is not an oil producing country. What did they do? Policy formulation, policy strategy. They sat down, came up with plans. And the good thing about it is that most of the retail outlets are controlled and owned by the government. We have NNPC filling stations. Are they really serving any needs? How are Nigerians benefiting? These are resources of Nigerians. How are we benefiting? If God has blessed us with this much and we cannot even take care of ourselves, we are not exporting anything outside crude. I don't want to sound to be hitting at anybody, but the truth is this: I hear government functionaries make claim of reckoning revenue through non-oil export. I ask, what are you exporting? India is exporting ICT. Go to California, most ICT companies are headed by Indians. That is their product to the world. If you're talking about ICT, you're talking about Indians. You think India. What are we exporting? We have vast arable land. What are we doing with those land? What have we done? We can't even feed ourselves. Some people are propounding the economy of consumption. A country that doesn't produce doesn't go forward. You have a lot of challenges. If you are the type that always consume, let us even assume you have all the money to consume. There are other challenges that will come. Health challenges. Because you cannot regulate what you're taking. So you will be having serious national health challenges. You'll be spending enough money, a lot of money, treating your citizens who have eaten this and that. And I mean, you don't even know. Tolu, I'm a farmer. If you come to where I live, I have a lot of crops around there. I have a poultry, purely organic. I don't induce the growth of those birds because I know the impact of those things on people that consume it. I might not be making much profit. Are you getting my point? So, yes. My point generally is that this is a time to play down on politics and go into leadership proper. If we do not, we will get to a point where we will, we become like a rudderless ship caught in the angry waves. Sailing to the shore becomes problem. Going back to base becomes problem. We'll just be living at the mercy of the storm. If God saves us, we won't sink. That is just so where we get to.
Really, at times where deals need to be signed,
deals, of course,
discussions need to be
yes,
constructive ones.
I was so critical of Dangote. It was a patriotic statement. I didn't say it because anyone said do it. I have always said in business, when we say no, no doesn't connote refusal. No is another bargaining point, a way to say that and say, guy, come up higher. When we say no to Dangote, it was based on the fear that he wanted to monopolize the sector. He wanted the usual Nigerian factor to be the one taking it all. But there's a reality that has dawned on us, and that reality is the very fact that we need to, in the language of Trump, make deals that will save us. While we are working to survive this moment, we need to hurriedly move to begin to put things on ground that will guarantee that in the event things like this happen again, it will not hit us this month. You know, I was checking something. Nigeria doesn't even have buffer stock. We don't even have facilities where we can dump petroleum products in the event of crisis like this. Most countries have. There is a religious organization that has a storage facility for food that can take all their members globally for years in the event of any crisis. People should think, I was in India some years ago. I was discussing with an Indian who told me, you know, prior to this time, we know India to be a major producer of rice. But that has really gone down, not because they don't want to really be exporting rice. A country that thinks, they now discover our population is moving upwards, 1.4 billion people. They are the highest in terms of population, more than China. Now, they looked at it that rice consumes more water. It takes more than 1,000 liters of water to grow 1 kg of rice. They now checked it with their water level global warming. If they continue at this rate to farm rice, in the next 25 years, from what that person told me, India will begin to have crisis of water. You can imagine crisis of water in the midst of 1.4 billion people. What did they do? They made a deal. From what I understood, they reached out to Vietnam and said, we will outsource rice production to you. Your population is not too massive like ours. You have more water than us. We don't want to run into a water crisis. This is 25 years ahead, already thinking and planning. They call rice farmers and said, we will give you, support you with other seedlings that is not rice, other seedlings, other product that has greater international value in terms of price than rice. Okay? Take it, look at incentives, farm it in place of rice. This is a country that thinks. I traveled to study the small and medium enterprises of India. And what I saw, what I describe as ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
We have to just wrap it up there. That's our time. I must tell you so much. Interesting conversation with you as always. I think we need to have more of this conversation. Mr. Lad Shadrach is an international business ideation specialist. Thank you so much for your time on the show. We really appreciate
this. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, let's review quickly activities at the Nigerian Exchange Limited.